Hello students, I am Dr. Tanmay Vishwash and I welcome you all in my channel Chemistry the Mystery of Chemicals. So today we are going to learn an interesting topic, that is difluorocarbon. I believe this is quite a new topic, so let's learn. And today we shall discuss mainly its preparation, spin state, use, and most importantly during synthesis we will learn a concept, that is decarboxylating elimination. Okay, so let's start. Difluorocarbon, as you can see, this is CF2. Now, so from this thing you can understand this is actually a 6 electron species, means electronically unsaturated, although it is not that much unsaturated as you think. So first, how it prepared? So this thing is prepared by using a concept, decarboxylative elimination. What do I mean by the word? Please look at the words carefully. First is decarboxylative, second is elimination. So for that purpose the substrate chosen is fluoro. Please watch it carefully why this is. It is sodium salt. Okay, it is heated more than 150 degree. So if you heat this, what it results? It results ultimately CF2 plus CO2 plus sodium chloride. Now question, how this reaction happens, and this CO2 comes out from the reaction medium. So how this reaction happens? First of all, in presence of heat, what happens? Decarboxylation means this negative charge comes here, so it opens up, come back, and it comes here. So what it produces? This is the fluoro negative charge plus CO2, and sodium plus remains as a counter cation. Now question, what is the next? Next is elimination. Now if you can see clearly, there are two types of elimination possible, and by the way, Reimer-Tiemann reaction utilizes similar concept, that is a CCl3 minus, and in that case what is the carbon? CCl2. After that elimination occurs, and which will eliminate? Two options possible. One is F minus, one is Cl minus. So the leading group, depending on the stability of the leading group, the reaction will occur. If you look at this, fluoride is relatively less stable because both are uninegative charge, but size of fluorine is smaller compared to size of chlorine. So negative charge faces a unique, relatively more repulsion, means negative charge repulsion. That's why you observe that electronegativity of fluorine is higher than electron negativity of chlorine, whereas electron affinity of chlorine is higher than fluorine. The same concept. So what happens? This Cl leaves. So in this way it results CF2. Now question. So in this way it could be prepared, and by the way there is another method to prepare this. So from chloroform, so it reacts with this 2HF, and what it produces? H carbon FFCl. Now you can see the similar type of thing. So what happens in next? In next it's treated with base like sodium hydroxide, and what it abstracts, this sodium hydroxide abstracts this proton in presence of heat, and what it produces? The same CFFFCl minus. So similar way, Cl eliminates and it produces this. So this is the two ways to prepare. There are other ways also, but I guess that's not that much important. Now question comes, we have prepared this thing. Is it relatively stable or not? Actually this difluorocarbon is a transient particle because it is actually a reaction intermediate like carbocation, carbanion, carbene. So it is relatively, we can say, stable. But the most important question comes that it is singlet or triplet. Actually this difluorocarbon is singlet. Why? Singlet means spin multiplicity 1, means it is having pair of electron. And if you look at very closely, this is actually sp2 hybridized. Okay, this carbon, so sp2 bond. So this is actually sp2 orbital, and here the pair of electron remains, and this is the vacant p orbital. Now how this is stabilized, this carbon? Please remember always that these halogens are having, each halogen have 3 pairs of electron. It means it's a p orbital. So this, and this is actually a filled p orbital. So it's a back bonding. In this way, both fluorine donates electron density to the central carbon. Although this central carbon is 6 electron species, but because of this donation, the electron deficiency of this carbon center is somehow neutralized. It is stabilized, and that's why it is same length. So it can act as a ligand. And by the way, remember this CF2 could be dimerized itself to produce this tetrafluoroethylene, and this tetrafluoroethylene is a precursor for very famous polymer, that is Teflon. Now, question, why this is called as decarboxylative elimination? Decarboxylative means CO2 elimination, carboxyl group is going out. So that's a decarboxylative elimination, means this Cl elimination to produce sodium chloride. Now, why this process is so facile? Because of this gives free energy, delta G equal to delta H minus T delta S. How? So this process happens relatively higher temperature, means in this case T is dominant. And if you look at the forward reaction, this is from one molecule, in this case 3 molecules are produced, and among 3 molecules one is gas and it goes out from the reaction medium. So that's why reaction is both enthalpically as well as entropically, both are favorable, and that's why this reaction occurs. Now you can see this example or application, or use whatever you say. It is actually a CF2 transfer reagent. What do I mean by this statement? See, the condition you have just studied, 165 degree this temperature. So in this condition it produces this CF2. Okay, so this is the CF. And by the way, I have already discussed Simon-Smith reaction and carbene addition to double bond. You may visit for further learning. So it may attack here and it may give this lone pair in sp2 orbital can give the pi star, and this pi bond could be given to the vacant p orbital of this carbene, just sometime before I have shown. So in this case it will produce a 3-member ring. Fine, write everything. This is fluoro. It's a propionation reaction in CF2 transfer. And see, these two are cis, so they will remain same side. So this is the overall chemistry of this difluorocarbon. So thank you everyone for watching.